imagined having it all. The cars, the mansions, the jewels, the power. For Queen Saleha of Brunei, that's just another day in her extraordinary life. As the wife of Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah, one of the wealthiest monarchs in the world, she's living a real-life fairy tale filled with opulence and extravagance that most of us can only dream of. From her sprawling 788-room palace to her dazzling collection of tiaras and priceless jewels, Queen Saleha's world is one of almost unimaginable luxury. A glimpse into royal heritage. Let's take a step back in time and explore the fascinating origins of Queen Saleha's royal journey. Born on October 7, 1946, the young Saleha spent her early years immersed in education, attending the prestigious Ra at Istana Daruhana and Sekolah Tinggi Peruan Raja Isteri schools. She even had a stint at Signet's house in South Kensington, which undoubtedly shaped her worldview and refined her royal tastes. But the real turning point in her life came on July 28, 1965, when she married her first cousin, Pengiran Muda Mahkota Hassanal Bolkiah. Now you might be thinking, wait, she married her cousin? Well, believe it or not, it was pretty common for royalty to keep power within the family back then. This marriage wove Saleha into the rich tapestry of Brunei's royal history, setting the stage for her future as the queen of one of the wealthiest monarchs in the world. Of course, with great power comes great responsibility, and Queen Saleha didn't shy away from it. She and Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah went on to have 2 sons and 4 daughters, and their family tree has since blossomed to include a whopping 18 grandchildren. Can you imagine the size of their family reunions? It's like a small village. Their eldest son, Crown Prince Al-Muhtadi Billah, is set to continue the royal legacy, ensuring that the opulence and grandeur of the Brunei monarchy will live on for generations to come. As you can imagine, being the queen of such a powerful and influential family is no small feat, but Queen Saleha has handled it with grace and poise throughout her reign. Naturally, her role as queen isn't just about wearing fancy tiaras and attending glamorous events, although that's definitely a perk. Queen Saleha has been actively involved in various patronages, including the Women's Institute, Girl Guides Association, and Brunei Shell Women Association. Her commitment to empowering women and supporting charitable causes is truly admirable, don't you think? When she's not busy being a royal icon, Queen Saleha indulges in some rather fascinating personal interests. From gardening to birdwatching and even traditional Brunei games like Kak and Pasang, she's got quite the eclectic taste. It's refreshing to see a queen who isn't afraid to get her hands dirty and enjoy the simple things in life. But let's not forget the most impressive feat of all. Queen Saleha holds the record as the longest-serving female consort globally, surpassing even the Duke of Edinburgh. That's right, she's been the queen for longer than most of us have been alive. Talk about a true icon. Of course, being married to one of the wealthiest men in the world doesn't come without its share of drama. Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah's marriages to Mariam Abdulaziz and Azrinaz Majar Hakim definitely raised some eyebrows, but through it all, Queen Saleha remained the steadfast and unwavering queen. Even when both of those marriages ended in divorce and the ex-wives were stripped of their royal titles, Queen Saleha's position remained unshakable. Now that's what we call royal resilience. But enough about the history and the drama. Let's get to the juicy stuff. The lavish lifestyle of the Queen of Brunei. Can you even begin to imagine what it must be like to live in a palace with 1,788 rooms? That's like having your own personal hotel. Istana Nurul Iman. And you thought your house was big? Wait until you hear about Queen Saleha's digs. She calls Istana Nurul Iman home, and let me tell you, it's not your average palace. This place is the world's largest residential palace, and it's got more rooms than you can shake a stick at. 1,788 of them to be exact. Can you even wrap your head around that? It's like having a small city under one roof. But it's not just the sheer size that'll make your jaw drop. The architecture of this place is something else. It's got this unique blend of Islamic and Malay styles that just screams opulence. And don't even get me started on the banquet hall. This thing can fit 5,000 guests. That's like throwing a party for your entire neighborhood and then some. Of course, with a palace this huge, you've got to wonder how they keep it all running smoothly. I mean, can you imagine the army of staff they must have? The cleaners alone must be working around the clock to keep those 1,788 rooms spick and span, and don't even get me started on the utility bills. I bet their water and electricity usage could power a small country. But hey, when you're the Queen of Brunei, you can afford to live large. And large is definitely an understatement when it comes to Istana Nurul Iman. It's got everything you could ever want in a home, and then some. From the lush gardens to the sprawling courtyards, every inch of this place oozes luxury. And let's not forget about the location. Istana Nurul Iman sits on the banks of the Brunei River, so you know the views are going to be spectacular. Can you imagine waking up every morning and looking out your window to see the river glistening in the sunlight? It's like something straight out of a fairy tale. But as impressive as the palace is, it's not the only thing that makes Queen Saleha's life so extraordinary. Just wait until you hear about her crazy collection of cars. We're talking rare, one-of-a-kind vehicles that would make any car enthusiast drool. And the best part, she's got a whole fleet of them. So, what kind of rides does the Queen of Brunei roll up in? Well, you'll have to stick around to find out. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Her car collection is the stuff of legends, and we're about to take you on a wild ride through some of the most jaw-dropping vehicles you've ever seen. From custom paint jobs to diamond-encrusted interiors, Queen Saleha's cars are the epitome of luxury. And the price tags? Let's just say they'll make your eyes water. But hey, when you're married to one of the richest men in the world, you can afford to splurge on a few fancy wheels. Exotic car collection. So you thought her palace was impressive? Wait until you get a load of Queen Saleha's insane car collection. We're talking top-of-the-line, custom-built, jaw-dropping vehicles that would make any car enthusiast weak in the knees. First up, let's talk about her Rolls-Royce Phantom. This isn't just any old Rolls, though. It's got a custom paint job that's so shiny, you could practically see your reflection in it. And the interior? Let's just say it's fit for a queen, with plush leather seats and enough gold trim to make King Midas jealous. But that's just the beginning. Queen Saleha also got a Bentley Azure, a sleek convertible that's perfect for cruising around Brunei in style. And when she really wants to turn heads, she breaks out her Ferrari Enzo. This baby can go from 0 to 60 in just 3.4 seconds, and it's got a top speed of over 217 miles per hour. Talk about a need for speed. Of course, even queens need to go off-roading sometimes, which is where her custom-built Mercedes G-Wagon comes in. This thing is a beast, with massive tires and enough power to tackle any terrain. And the best part? It's got a custom interior that's so luxurious you might forget you're in a rugged SUV. But the real crown jewel of Queen Saleha's car collection, that would have to be her one-of-a-kind Porsche 918 Spider. This hybrid hypercar is so rare, only 918 were ever made. And Queen Saleha got one of them, complete with a custom paint job and interior that's fit for royalty. As you can imagine, maintaining a car collection like this is no small feat. Queen Saleha got a whole team of mechanics and detailers working around the clock to keep her rides in tip-top shape. And when she's not driving them herself, she's got a fleet of chauffeurs at her beck and call, ready to whisk her away to her next royal engagement. Naturally, with a car collection this impressive, Queen Saleha got to have somewhere to store them all. And boy, does she ever. Her palace has its own massive garage, complete with a rotating platform that allows her to easily access any of her vehicles at a moment's notice. It's like something straight out of a James Bond movie. But here's the real kicker. Queen Saleha's car collection is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to her lavish lifestyle. You won't believe what kind of yachts she's got waiting in the wings. These babies make her cars look like mere toys in comparison. Yachts and vessels. So you thought her car collection was wild? Just wait until you hear about the boats she's got. Queen Saleha's yachts are the stuff of legends, and they'll make your jaw hit the floor. First up, there's the Tits Tambahan. Don't let the cheeky name fool you though. This 180-foot super yacht is a floating palace with enough room for 18 guests and a crew of 29. It's got all the bells and whistles you'd expect from a royal yacht, like a helipad, a swimming pool, and even a disco hall. Because sometimes, even queens need to let loose and bust a move, right? But that's not the only yacht in Queen Saleha's fleet. She's also got the KM Dayang Senandong, a sleek 164-footer that's perfect for cruising around the Brunei Bay. This baby's got a top speed of 15 knots, and it's decked out with all the latest tech and amenities. We're talking about satellite TV, Wi-Fi, and even a karaoke room, because who doesn't love belting out a few tunes while you're out on the open water? Of course, when you're the Queen of Brunei, you can't just settle for any old yacht. That's why Queen Saleha got the KM Sentosa, a custom-built 200-foot masterpiece that's fit for royalty. This thing is so big, it's practically a floating city. It's got room for 24 guests, a crew of 48, and even a mini submarine. That's right, a freaking submarine, because sometimes you just need to explore the depths of the ocean in style. As you can imagine, maintaining a fleet of yachts like this is no small feat. Queen Saleha got a whole team of engineers, mechanics, and crew members working around the clock to keep these babies in tip-top shape. And when she's not using them herself, she's been known to lend them out to other members of the royal family or even visiting dignitaries. Talk about a royal welcome. But here's the really crazy part. Queen Saleha's yachts aren't just for show. She actually uses them for all sorts of official business and royal engagements, like the time she hosted a summit for Southeast Asian leaders on the KM Dayang Senandong, or the time she took the Tits Tambahan out for a spin to celebrate Brunei's National Day. Because when you're the Queen of Brunei, even your boats are part of your royal duties. Of course, owning a fleet of yachts like this doesn't come cheap, but when you're married to one of the richest men in the world, money is no object. Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah's net worth is estimated at a staggering $30 billion, so dropping a few million on a new yacht is like pocket change for him. Naturally, Queen Saleha's yachts are just one small part of her lavish lifestyle. Wait until you hear about the insane mansions she's got scattered all over the globe. We're talking properties that make her palace look like a tiny shack in comparison, and you won't believe the kind of luxury amenities they've got. But hey, that's a story for another time. For now, just try to wrap your head around the fact that Queen Saleha got a fleet of yachts that most of us can only dream of, and the next time you're out on the water, keep your eyes peeled. You never know when you might catch a glimpse of Her Majesty cruising by in one of her floating palaces. But Queen Saleha's opulence doesn't stop at the water's edge. Oh no, her extravagance extends to every corner of the globe, with a jaw-dropping collection of mansions that'll make your head spin. These aren't just your average vacation homes, folks. We're talking about properties so luxurious, they make five-star hotels look like budget motels. Mansions worldwide. So you thought her yachts were impressive. Just wait until you hear about the insane mansions Queen Saleha got scattered all over the world. We're talking properties that are so over the top, they make her palace in Brunei look like a quaint little cottage. First up, there's her sprawling estate in the English countryside. This place is straight out of a fairy tale, with its own private lake, a stable full of horses, and gardens that stretch as far as the eye can see. And the house itself? It's got more rooms than most hotels, each one decked out with the finest furnishings money can buy. But that's just the beginning. Queen Saleha also got a stunning villa on the French Riviera, complete with its own private beach and a pool that's bigger than most people's backyards. That's right, Queen Saleha got her own penthouse apartment overlooking Central Park, and let me tell you, the views are absolutely breathtaking. But then again, when you're the Queen of Brunei, breathtaking views are just part of the package. As you can imagine, maintaining all these properties is a full-time job in itself. Queen Saleha got a whole army of staff working around the clock to keep everything in tip-top shape. We're talking housekeepers, gardeners, chefs, you name it. And when she's not using the properties herself, she's been known to rent them out to other members of the royal family or even visiting dignitaries. Talk about the ultimate Airbnb. But here's the really mind-blowing part. These mansions are just a small part of Queen Saleha's vast real estate portfolio. She's got properties in just about every corner of the globe, from the beaches of Bali to the skyscrapers of Dubai, and each one is more luxurious than the last. Unsurprisingly, owning all these mansions doesn't come cheap, but when you're married to one of the richest men in the world, money is no object. Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah's net worth is estimated at a staggering $30 billion, so dropping a few million on a new mansion is like pocket change for him. Still, it's hard not to be a little envious of Queen Saleha's jet-setting lifestyle. I mean, can you imagine waking up in a different country every week? with a staff of hundreds at your beck and call. It's the kind of life most of us can only dream of. But don't feel too sorry for yourself just yet, because as lavish as Queen Saleha's mansions may be, they've got nothing on her jaw-dropping collection of jewelry and tiaras. We're talking pieces so rare and valuable, they make the crown jewels look like cheap trinkets from the dollar store. Jewelry collection. But Queen Saleha's opulence doesn't end there. Oh no. Her Majesty's got a jewelry collection that'll make your eyes pop out of your head. We're talking pieces so rare and valuable, they make the crown jewels look like cheap trinkets from the dollar store. First up, there's her iconic emerald and diamond tiara. This baby's got more than 200 carats of the finest emeralds and diamonds money can buy, all set in a stunning platinum frame. And when she wears it, it's like a beacon of light, drawing all eyes to Her Royal Highness. But that's just the beginning. Queen Saleha also got a necklace that's so heavy, it's a wonder she can even stand up straight. It's got more than 500 carats of the most flawless diamonds you've ever seen, all strung together on a chain of pure gold. And when she pairs it with her matching earrings and bracelet, it's like a blinding display of wealth and power. Of course, no royal jewelry collection would be complete without a few tiaras. And Queen Saleha got more than a few. There's the one with the giant sapphire in the center, surrounded by a halo of diamonds, and the one with the massive ruby, set in a delicate gold filigree. And let's not forget the one with the pink diamonds, so rare and precious, they're practically priceless. As you can imagine, keeping all this bling safe and secure is no small feat. Queen Saleha got a team of armed guards watching over her jewelry collection 24/7, and when she's not wearing the pieces herself, they're locked up in a vault that's more secure than Fort Knox. But here's the really crazy part. Queen Saleha's jewelry collection is just a drop in the bucket compared to her husband's. Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah's got a personal collection that's worth more than the GDP of some small countries. We're talking diamonds the size of golf balls, rubies as big as your fist, and emeralds that would make Cleopatra green with envy. Naturally, all this bling doesn't come cheap. But when you're the Queen of Brunei, money is no object. She's got an unlimited budget for all things shiny and sparkly, and she's not afraid to use it. Still, it's hard not to be a little dazzled by the sheer opulence of it all. I mean, can you imagine having so much jewelry? You need a team of people just to keep track of it all. It's the kind of wealth most of us can only dream of. But for Queen Saleha, it's just another day in the life of a royal. She's got more jewelry than most of us will ever see in a lifetime, and she wears it all with the kind of casual elegance that only comes from being born into the lap of luxury. So the next time you're feeling a little down about your own jewelry collection, just remember, there's always someone out there with more bling than you. And in this case, that someone is Queen Saleha of Brunei. But here's the real question. What does one do with all that wealth? How does Queen Saleha spend her billions beyond just collecting shiny objects and floating palaces? Well, buckle up, because the answer might just surprise you. The art of spending billions. So what does one do with all those billions? How does Queen Saleha spend her seemingly endless wealth? Well, as you can imagine, the answer is pretty much anything she wants. But it's not all just private jets and diamond-encrusted everything. The Queen is also known for her philanthropic efforts and strategic investments. Of course, when you're sitting on a pile of cash that big, it's hard not to indulge in a little retail therapy now and then. Queen Saleha is no stranger to the world's most exclusive boutiques and auction houses. She's been known to drop millions on a single piece of artwork or a rare vintage car. And let's not forget about her legendary shopping sprees. I mean, when you can buy out an entire designer store without batting an eye, why wouldn't you? But it's not all just frivolous spending. The Queen is also a savvy investor with a diverse portfolio that spans everything from real estate to tech startups. She's got a team of advisors who help her make smart financial decisions and grow her wealth even further. And when you're playing with numbers that big, even a small return can mean some serious cash. Naturally, Queen Saleha also uses her wealth to support various charitable causes. She's a major donor to organizations that focus on education, healthcare, and women's empowerment. And she's not afraid to get hands-on either. She's been known to visit schools and hospitals in Brunei, bringing gifts and spreading a little royal cheer. After all, when your country is sitting on vast reserves of oil and gas, a little excess is to be expected, right? At the end of the day, though, Queen Saleha's spending is just one small part of her larger-than-life persona. She's a woman who embodies the very essence of royalty, with all the privilege and power that comes with it. And speaking of privilege and power, have you ever wondered what it's really like to be the queen of one of the world's richest nations? Life as a queen? Well, it's time to dive into the nitty-gritty of what it's really like to be the Queen of Brunei. And let me tell you, it's not all just glitz and glamour. I mean, sure, Queen Saleha got more money than she knows what to do with. But with great wealth comes great responsibility, right? As the queen, she's got a whole host of unique privileges that come with the job. For starters, she's got diplomatic immunity, which means she can pretty much do whatever she wants without fear of legal repercussions. And when she travels abroad, she's treated like royalty because, well, she is. We're talking red carpet treatment, private audiences with world leaders, the whole 9 yards. But it's not all just fancy dinners and schmoozing with the elite. Queen Saleha also has a lot of influence within Brunei itself. She's a major patron of the arts and culture, and her endorsement can make or break a new initiative. And when it comes to matters of state, you better believe the Sultan takes her opinions seriously. But here's the thing, being the queen isn't just about wielding power and influence, it's also about being a role model and a symbol of the nation. Queen Saleha is expected to embody all the virtues of a perfect wife and mother, while also being a gracious hostess and a savvy political operator. Unsurprisingly, it's a lot of pressure. Naturally, she's also got a huge amount of responsibility when it comes to charitable causes. As the queen, she's expected to be a champion for the less fortunate and to use her platform to raise awareness and funds for important issues. Of course, being the queen also means being constantly in the public eye. Every move she makes is scrutinized and analyzed, and the pressure to maintain a perfect image is intense. Sure, she's got an army of staff to help her out, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with her. Still, it's not all just hard work and responsibility. Queen Saleha also gets to enjoy some seriously sweet perks. I mean, when you've got access to the best of the best, life can be pretty darn good. She's got her pick of the finest foods, the most luxurious accommodations, and the most exclusive events. And when you're the queen, you never have to wait in line for anything. Unsurprisingly, all of this privilege and power doesn't come cheap. Maintaining the Queen's lavish lifestyle takes an army of dedicated staff and some seriously deep pockets, but so what if it costs a fortune? You didn't think being the Queen of Brunei came cheap, did you? Well, if you're curious about just how much it takes to keep Queen Saleha living like royalty, you won't want to miss what's coming up next. Upkeep of a billionaire's lifestyle. Alright, so you might be thinking, sure, Queen Saleha got more money than God, but what does it really take to keep that kind of lifestyle afloat? Well, as you can imagine, it's not exactly a walk in the park. For starters, there's the upkeep on all those fancy properties. We're talking armies of landscapers, housekeepers, and maintenance crews working around the clock to keep everything looking pristine. And don't even get me started on the utility bills. Can you imagine the size of the water bill for a place like Istana Nurul Iman? It's probably more than most of us make in a year. Of course, there's also the cost of maintaining all those fancy toys. The cars, the yachts, the private jets, they all need to be serviced and maintained on a regular basis. And when something breaks down, you better believe it's not cheap to fix. I mean, have you ever tried to get a spare part for a custom-built luxury yacht? It's not exactly something you can pick up at the local auto shop. Then there's the staff. Queen Saleha got a small army of personal assistants, chefs, bodyguards, and who knows what else, all working tirelessly to keep her life running smoothly. When you're the Queen of Brunei, you can't exactly be seen wearing the same outfit twice. So, she's got a team of stylists and personal shoppers constantly on the lookout for the latest and greatest in haute couture. And don't even get me started on the jewelry. I mean, those tiaras and necklaces ain't exactly costume pieces, you know what I mean? Unsurprisingly, all of this adds up to some seriously mind-boggling expenses. I mean, we're talking billions of dollars a year just to keep the Queen living in the style to which she's accustomed. And that's not even counting the cost of all those charitable donations and philanthropic endeavors. Still, when you're sitting on a fortune as vast as the Sultan of Brunei's, a few billion here and there probably doesn't seem like that big of a deal. And as long as the oil keeps flowing and the investments keep paying off, there's no reason to think that Queen Saleha's lavish lifestyle will be going anywhere anytime soon. A day in the life of Queen Saleha. So, what does a day in the life of Queen Saleha actually look like? Well, as you might expect, it's a pretty jam-packed schedule. She's up at the crack of dawn, ready to tackle whatever the day throws her way. And trust me, there's never a dull moment. First things first, she's got her morning routine down to a science. A little yoga, a healthy breakfast, and of course, a team of stylists to make sure she's looking her best. I mean, when you're the Queen of Brunei, you can't exactly roll out of bed and throw on a pair of sweatpants, now can you? From there, it's off to attend to her royal duties, and let me tell you, there's no shortage of those. She might be attending a state dinner, cutting the ribbon at a new hospital wing, or even hosting a foreign dignitary, and through it all, she's the picture of grace and poise. But it's not all just official business. Queen Saleha also got a bunch of hobbies and interests that keep her busy. For one thing, she's a major patron of the arts. She's often seen attending the opera or checking out the latest art exhibition. And speaking of art, did you know that she's an avid collector herself? Her private collection is rumored to be worth millions. When she's not indulging her artistic side, Queen Saleha is also a big fan of sports. She's been known to hit the green for a round of golf or even take a spin on one of her many yachts. But her real passion, horse riding, she's got her own stables and everything, and if you ask me, there's nothing quite like seeing her galloping across the Brunei countryside, hair blowing in the wind. Of course, it's not all just fun and games. As the Queen, Saleha's also got a lot of traditional duties to attend to. She's a major patron of the Islamic faith and can often be seen attending religious ceremonies and events, and as a mother and grandmother, she's also big on family time. She might spend an afternoon doting on her grandkids or catching up with her daughter over tea. Unsurprisingly, no 2 days are quite the same for Queen Saleha. But one thing's for sure, she's always on the go. And with a lifestyle as lavish as hers, it's no wonder she's often compared to other billionaires around the world. Which begs the question, just how does Queen Saleha's spending stack up against other mega-rich moguls? How do her toys, travels, and taste for the finer things compare? How she differs from other billionaires? So, how does Queen Saleha's opulent lifestyle compare to other billionaires around the world? Well, as you can imagine, she's definitely in a league of her own, but that doesn't mean she's the only one living large. Take someone like Jeff Bezos, for example. Sure, he's got more money than he knows what to do with, but he's not exactly known for his flashy lifestyle. I mean, the guy drives a Honda Accord, for crying out loud. Can you picture Queen Saleha rolling up to the palace in a sensible sedan? Yeah, me neither. Of course, there are plenty of other billionaires out there who know how to live it up. The Saudi royal family comes to mind. They're not exactly shy about flaunting their wealth, but even they might look like peasants compared to Queen Saleha. I mean, have you seen her jewelry collection? It's like something out of a fairy tale. Still, there are a few areas where Queen Saleha's spending habits do align with other billionaires. Take real estate, for example. Just like the Queen, plenty of the world's richest people love to scoop up properties all over the globe. And when it comes to yachts and private jets, well, let's just say she's not the only one who appreciates the finer things in life. Naturally, there are some billionaires who take a more low-key approach to spending their fortune. Warren Buffett, for instance, is known for his frugal lifestyle. The guy still lives in the same house he bought back in 1958 for $31,500. Can you even imagine Queen Saleha setting foot in a place like that? It'd be like a fish out of water. But here's the thing. When you're as rich as Queen Saleha, you can pretty much do whatever you want. And if that means dropping millions on a single piece of jewelry or taking your yacht out for a spin just because you feel like it, well, who's going to stop you? Unsurprisingly, Queen Saleha's spending habits have earned her a reputation as one of the world's most extravagant billionaires. But hey, when you're sitting on a fortune like hers, why not live a little? Or a lot, as the case may be. But of course, all that glitters is not gold. Because as much as we might ooh and ah over Queen Saleha's lavish lifestyle, there's no denying that it comes at a cost. And I'm not just talking about the price tag on that diamond-encrusted tiara. No, the real cost is the impact that all that excess can have on the world around us. I mean, think about it. While Queen Saleha is off gallivanting on her yacht, there are people in Brunei who are struggling to make ends meet. And don't even get me started on the environmental impact of all those private jets and mega mansions. But hey, that's the price of being a billionaire, right? You get to live like royalty, but you also have to deal with the consequences. And for Queen Saleha, Those consequences are going to be felt long after she's gone, which begs the question, what kind of legacy will she leave behind? How will her lavish lifestyle and spending habits impact the next generation of Brunei's royal family?